Okay, so now that we've discussed attackers and defenders are no more, because some people say attackers too, because it's something I forgot to mention. Attackers referring to the frontline players, and yeah, so defenders, backline players. With that being said, these nicknames for playing positions can also be falsified. Easy one, striker, right? Because a center midfielder could strike the ball, but they're not called.
Yes.
They're a center midfielder.
I,
So strikers off the table.
yeah.
Um, because also if you want to say, yeah, but that's the player that scores goals, so he's a striker. Yeah, the fullback can also score a goal. So why is he not a striker or called a striker? But
If
now,
you zoom out,
yeah,
if we zoom out and want to use a universal football language, like Raymond's described and explained in his tactical principles book, he has back line, middle line, front line, and if you want to stay consistent within that language, then having the non-contextual words fullback, center back doesn't align with backline. So it should be central backline player or wide backline player. And if you want to further define it, could be right wide backline player, left wide backline player. So
mhm,
now it gives the coach a tool to visualize specifically where that player's playing position is located on the pitch. And it's like you said, there is no context. It doesn't seem contextual to add striker, winger. They are both by definition frontline players. And then if we further specify that, we should say central frontline player, left wide frontline player,
mhm,
right wide frontline player. We were discussing this. I think it's a more logical way of aligning the language because in definition could you if we winger could mean different things for different coaches because a wingback is also oftentimes a fullback, but he's also a winger. Depends on the style of play that you want your team playing in.
mhm,
So why not just define based on the starting point? Why not further define the language?
mhm. So consistency with language. So you have a formation, and then you have lines within that positional lines within that formation. And rather than the playing position referring to the positional line, yeah, we just have random words
Well, I agree.
that have
I
nothing
agree.
to do with the positional line. So then it has no relation to the reference. Because then why don't you just say, because then people could say, yeah, left center defender, which often people do, left wide defender, but they don't say left wide defender. They say fullback. Uh, I believe the term fullback referred to someone who always stayed back to defend.
Yeah, we were having that discussion.
I think that's the historical uh, story behind that word. So the playing position should refer to the positional line in which it is in. So like you said, the left and right center backline player the left wide, the right wide backline player. So now it's easier to visualize. And then these positions then have intentions because sometimes these playing positions uh say more about the intention behind the position than the actual positional line that they are in. So striker refers to the intention of maybe scoring goals, but it says nothing about the positional line. But the positional line is the starting point.
Yeah.
And then the intention is just part of the action. So that's something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, the playing position should be consistent to the positional line. So then we have left center backline player, right center backline player, left and right wide uh, backline player, and then we have now the problem with the wingers, where that word come from.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Where does the because we have wing, which refers to an area of the pitch, and we have winger, which refers to a playing position based on the area of the pitch. But where does that area of the pitch begin? We know where it ends, but where does it begin? Because it's very abstract.
Yeah. These are all non-contextual words
Yeah. Also,
that
wing is also a non-contextual word in football because
that
like chicken wings,
yeah.
wings of a
And,
bird.
it's something that has to evolve. There has to be a better way to define a player's uh your specific playing position based on a logical reasoning of okay, there's lines, and within those lines we have players playing within that line, and we can further define their specific playing position within that same line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, we also have in the past years now we've had the discussion with the traditional word goalkeeping, and now it's become goal player because it relates and evolves more towards what the specific task of the goal player is. By definition, now he's performing more attacking action than ever before in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And just saying winger creates unconscious stress in my unconscious brain.
Mm-hmm.
Just like fullback, like you defined fullback, saying that in the past maybe that fullback would be positioned more towards his own half of the pitch and deeper. But
Mm-hmm.
now, with the evolution of the game, uh, wide backline players tend to perform a lot of tasks in the opponent's half, contributing to the build-up to create chances to score. So that's the area of the pitch that they normally perform tasks on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Clear too. Clear. Yeah.
I think it's something that makes a lot of sense if you evolve and think about the language. It just becomes sloppy language. It creates a lot of unconscious stress using those non-contextual words.
Yeah.
I think it will only improve the football language, and the communicating will be more purposeful within coaches.
Mm-hmm. The there was a argument that I had. I presented this also to another coach, and he said it could be just a metaphor. Winger could just be a metaphor. So then it like the wings of a plane could be wing could be a metaphor for the child. to know where it is. That was the counter argument.
Hmm.
But then the metaphor becomes an objective within itself
Yeah.
because yeah, you could say yeah, that's the you could visualize you have the plane, so in the middle of the plane is the center of the pitch, and the wings of the plane on the outside.
Hmm.
A nice metaphor for the child, but objectively, back line, playing positions within the back line, middle line, playing positions within the middle line, front line, playing positions within the front line, center front line player, left wide front line player, right wide front line player. And then they have their individual intentions that the coach wants them to accomplish for the playing style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Language is always something that a coach has to take into consideration based on the age group of the players, using the appropriate language to kind of have have the player understand what you're trying to communicate with them. Hmm.
Because there's
Yeah,
also
wings also created unconscious stress because the wings of a plane, for example, are horizontal, and that's an objective within itself.
doesn't say
But
anything about the depth.
doesn't say anything about the depth, doesn't transfer to the objective of the game because
Very good.
we want to get the ball from here to that goal. And by using wide area, now we further define this wide area within the pitch because the pitch should be the starting point, not the plane. The plane is just width, but that's not what we want the player to uh, understand.
Mm, good argument. Yeah, I like that. It says nothing about the depth. Yeah,
Yeah. So that was my first pop up when he was describing the metaphor of using plane.
that's good. That's good. I wish I had thought of that at the moment. Mm-hmm.
Maybe a plane going on a path runway. This is wide area is the runway. It doesn't make sense either. But that area on the wide area should not be. You shouldn't start with using airplane as a metaphor. It means nothing to me.
The pitch is a constant, and also the playing formation is a variable, but there are lines within each playing formation, and then the playing position should refer to the lines and not just
Yeah,
some. Because again, striker could have a negative consequence. I'm the striker, so then I don't defend. No, no, you're part of a line. You're part of a line. So then when you maybe implement a team intention for defending, closing down the center in front of your front line, for example, you are part of the front line, so you close the center.
yeah,
If you say striker, he's part of his own individual. Maybe he's not, now he's an absolute individual. Now you have wingers, but they're part of the same line, but they have different names.
yeah, yeah.
So it's inconsistent. Or even the back line. You're part of the same line, but you have fullback and then center back, part of
Mm.
the same line.
Yeah. This could be true for everything
Mhm.
within the traditional language,
Mm.
like holding middle line player. What is he holding?
Yeah, what is he holding? So what would you suggest?
Central middle line player.
Mm-hmm. Left middle line player, left center middle line player, right center middle line player.
No,
And then they each have different individual intentions.
yeah. Now I could further. You can the player could maybe by using that language, you transfer that understanding into the player's brain, and they can interact better within their own line because they understand their playing position
Because that
and they
applies.
have a reference point. They have a reference point within their position and also relative to their teammate.
Yeah. The line that they are in within the team formation. I had a pop up. So then when you say holding center mid, which is what often people use, or center defensive mid, like I said, this could have consequences and could potentially limit the development of that player. Because I know I just stay here. Or it could be a progress option and maybe change positions with another player. Or maybe you could dribble the ball and progress the ball up the pitch, or rather than just standing in the middle of the pitch and passing the ball, passing the ball. So now he becomes a very predictable player.
Yeah.
So yeah, the words that you choose or the terminology that you choose have a consequence and could potentially limit the development of players just by the choice of words. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else to
That
add
makes
to this?
sense.
Anything else that
No, it's just
is an interesting conversation?
no, it's just what you just said, that it has a profound impact on the player performing his task unconsciously when you tell them your playing position is the holding mid in the middle line. What is he holding? Why do we always tell that player that he has to stay deeper when he should have a starting point based on the line that he's in, and more specifically within that line, what playing position is he in when the team is in their formation? Hmm.
True. Good. Ready for
Yeah.
part 3?
Part 3. Okay. Let's go for part 3.
Because now the conversation becomes easier with all the references established in the beginning. Because I believe the beginning part was 1 hour, and now this part was like a few minutes. Because
Yeah,
already established. It's easier.
this
No,
went this went quicker than when we spoke about it the first time.
but
It seemed
even now we had pop-ups.
yeah, but it seemed more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation seemed more fluid in this part than we had when we were describing like backline, blah blah. We seemed to narrow it down. We kind of boxed them in like checkmate. It's like kind of checkmate because we're using your starting point as a tool to better understand why we're using winger, striker, fullback, center back when you're describing backline, middle line, and front line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're part
Because
of.
right tells me exactly the location. Winger doesn't tell me anything. That right wide frontline player tells me a specific pitch position
Mm-hmm.
within the formation.
Even now, going back to position, moment, direction, speed, pitch position. When you describe it, pitch position, you're also now describing the pitch position first for the playing position. Like you said, right, wide, so pitch position, and then you refer to the line, front line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.